everyone, my name is Ashri, and I actually have a question for the audience today. What is your most common fear?
Spiders?
Spiders, definitely something that I'm afraid of too. So what's interesting is that in the summer of 2016, I was in Kenya interning at the Kisumu Medical Education Trust, and I asked a group of 12-year-old kids the exact same question. What is your most common fear? And one of the responses I got was, when a man walks into my room and puts a bag over my head. Imagine if this were true for someone you know. Globally, 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys experience sexual violence before the age of 18. In Kenya, the numbers are even higher, with 32% of girls and 18% of boys being victims of this crime. Compared to response resources, there's a significant lack of prevention interventions to address this issue, which is what led me to co-found I Empower, a sexual violence prevention program that teaches self-defense, bystander intervention, gender equality, empathy development, and public speaking to 12 to 14-year-old girls and boys in Kenya. And after running this program for 3 years, I decided for my senior economics thesis to run a randomized control trial to evaluate the impact of the program in changing attitudes and knowledge for these students. So in January, I brought a team of 7 Harvard undergraduate students to Kenya with me, and we trained 15 local instructors to come with us into 4 new schools and work with 1,200 students to evaluate and run this randomized control trial. And when we analyzed the survey data, we found some really interesting results with positive gender changes and knowledge changes for students that participated in the program. And we also found, when analyzing differences in instructor characteristics, that local teachers were much more effective in transforming attitudes about gender and in stigmatizing topics such as domestic violence, whereas foreign teachers were really effective in teaching about women in the workforce, perhaps because they could provide real-life examples from a culture such as ours with higher female labor force participation rates. And then when we broke it down by gender, we found that for male students, having a male instructor was the most important determinant in changing their gender attitudes. Whereas for female students, having female instructors and having female instructors characterized by being soft-spoken or gentle in nature, traits that we wouldn't necessarily associate with being strong, having strong teaching ability, were actually most effective in changing their attitudes. And this just shows the critical and crucial role that cultural context plays in changing attitudes and transforming norms, especially regarding such sensitive issues. And so in the future, my hope with this program is that it not only is going to be implemented by local instructors, but also led by local voices. Thank you.